You are listening to Däs Bundesliga show here on the Lock Betting Podcast. You can follow the Lock Betting Podcast on Twitter at LockBettingCom. That's at LockBettingCom. We get straight into it here with our Friday game. We're looking at the game here between Hoffenheim and Werder Bremen, where Hoffenheim are the 10-11 favourites to pick up a win here. It's 11-4 on the draw, and it's 12-5 here on Werder Bremen. This is a good start to the weekend. I am expecting goals here in this game. Hoffenheim have made a solid start to the season and will have outside hopes of making it into a Champions League position. I think the best way to bet this game would be to take the goals. I think both teams will end up scoring, and I'm happy to tack on the over 2.5 goals here as well. Both teams have scored in a joint league high 6 of Werder Bremen's games, and I fancy that trend to continue, but I also fancy Hoffenheim here to win the game. Hoffenheim have scored at least 3 goals in 3 of their last 4 head-to-head encounters, and they are arguably superior throughout the side, and therefore I expect them to make home advantage count here in this game, with Bremen managing to score a goal as they have scored in every away game so far this season. So over 2.5 goals and both teams to score is your first selection here, and that one is available here at quite a short price for that type of selection at 3-4. Up next, we jump across to Bayer Leverkusen versus Schalke on Saturday, where Bayer Leverkusen are the 1-2 favourites here. It's 15-4 on the draw, and it's 11-2 on Schalke. This would be considered a really, really short price on Bayer Leverkusen, given the form that they're in. But I do expect them to get a new manager bounce here. On paper, Schalke would be the pay on the double chance market, as they have avoided defeat in 2 of their last 3 games. And I would like them to grab a point here under the old regime. But you guys know I am a fan of the new manager bounce. I don't really want to take the 1-2 minus 200 here, so I am willing to take the -1 on the Asian handicap line. This selection wins if they win by 2 or more goals, but it pushes if Leverkusen do win by just a single goal. Obviously, there is no data to support the play. This is a play on a new manager bounce, and when a new manager comes in, that means the team have been playing poorly, or he's obviously upgraded to a bigger team like Graham Potter did with Brighton and Chelsea, from Brighton going to Chelsea. But this isn't the case here. Bayer Leverkusen have massively underperformed so far this season, and that has resulted in a change of manager. So we're going to take Bayer Leverkusen -1 on the Asian handicap line as our selection here for this game. Up next, we move on to the game here between Mainz and RB Leipzig, where Leipzig are the 13-10 favourites here. It's 12-5 on the draw, and Mainz are the 2-1 home underdogs. I'm happy to back Leipzig at home, but I'm not happy to back them away yet until I see some improvement on the road. I think the standout play here is to take the over 2.5 goals, which is available at a pretty generous price of 4-5. We have seen more than 2.5 goals in 5 of the last 7 games involving Mainz. We've also seen over 2.5 goals in 7 of the last 8 games involving Leipzig. Both teams have scored in 4 of the last 5 games involving Mainz, and the head-to-head record here clearly points towards over 2.5 goals, given that it has cashed in 9 of the last 10 meetings between the two sides. So big standout selection here on over 2.5 goals. Very surprised to see it here at 4-5 -125. Up next, we go on to the game of the week in the Bundesliga. It is the 5:30 kickoff on Saturday, UK time. It is the Klassiker between Dortmund and Bayern Munich, where Bayern Munich are the 4-6 favourites to win. It's 10-3 on the draw, and Borussia Dortmund here are the 3-1 underdogs. Bayern Munich have clicked at the wrong time here for Borussia Dortmund. They absolutely smashed Bayer Leverkusen last weekend, and they smashed Victor Plzen at the weekend as well. So I don't hold out too much hope here for Dortmund. It's a shame because this is the most difficult game of the season for Bayern Munich on paper, the team who should finish second in the table, and you're travelling to their ground. But ultimately, I just see no chance here for Dortmund. I think Bayern Munich will continue their dominance over them. Bayern Munich come into this one having won 8 straight games against Dortmund, and that was a Dortmund team that had Erling Haaland in it. And you've seen at Manchester City what a game changer he is. If you give him a chance, he will score. And even with that X factor in the side, they haven't been able to win these games. So it's very difficult to see them winning now. Bayern Munich have also won 13 of the last 15 head-to-heads at this venue. They've got 5 wins from 7 competitive away games so far this season. And if you're looking for data for goals, both teams to score with over 2.5 goals may be a way to go. That has landed in 3 of Dortmund's last 4 matches and in each of the last 6 the Klassiker encounters at this venue. So it's a different way to go, but I can't see past Bayern Munich. I don't think the price is too short either. As I said, Bayern Munich have clicked at the right time. Dortmund are still doing Dortmund things. Yes, they won convincingly away to Sevilla in midweek, but prior to that, they lost away to Cologne away from home at the weekend. And they're still susceptible to these kind of results. They were 2-0 up earlier on in the season at home to Werder Bremen and ended up losing 3-2. So I don't trust Borussia Dortmund. I do trust Bayern in their current form, and we'll take them here on the money line as our main selection at 46 minus 150. Up next, we move across to Sunday and we look at the game here between Borussia Munchengladbach and Cologne. Borussia Munchengladbach slipped to their first defeat of the season last weekend. They're looking for a bounce back. They're even money favourites to get it. It's 13-5 on the draw and it's 5-2 here on Cologne. Borussia Mönchengladbach were doing well to remain undefeated, but they were drawing a lot of games. So it does come as a shock, though, still, that they coming to this off the back of a 5-1 defeat. Yet prior to that, they hadn't conceded more than once in 5 games, and Daniel Farke will be expecting a reaction here from this team. Cologne's Thursday night defeat to Partizan gives them less preparation time than the hosts, and Cologne have also failed to win in 7 of their last 10 visits to Gladbach. So I'm going to take Gladbach reluctantly here to bounce back, and we're going to take the price of even money here for this one. Up next, we're looking at a game between Hertha Berlin and Freiburg, where Hertha are the 2-1 dogs. It's 23-10 on the draw, and it's 5-4 here on Freiburg. Freiburg have made a strong start to the season, but I'm always sceptical about taking teams who are newly experiencing this Sunday-Thursday or Thursday-Sunday dichotomy from European football. So despite the fact that Freiburg should win this game on paper, as I said, it's not always a great spot taking teams who play in Europe in midweek. Therefore, for that reason, I am taking Hertha Berlin to avoid the defeat on the double chance market, which is available here at 7-10. This isn't solely, though, down to the Europa League and or Thursday-Sunday dichotomy. It's also because Hertha Berlin have put in an impressive 4-game unbeaten run, holding the likes of Hoffenheim and Bayern Leverkusen. So I think they could pick up a positive result here. Bad spot here for Freiburg too. And therefore, I'm going to take Hertha as the home underdogs to get something from this game. Final game we look at here is Stuttgart versus the league leaders Union Berlin, where Stuttgart actually the favourites here at 6-4. It's 29-10 on the draw, and Union Berlin here are available at 9-5. I think these odds are a little bit dismissive of what Union Berlin have done so far this season. I'm happy to take Union Berlin as a pick in the draw no bet market. This pushes if it ends up being a draw, but you cash if Union Berlin do continue winning here. Union Berlin have lost just once all season in the league, and that was last weekend, and they enter this clash with extra confidence after having a Europa League win over Malmo, and they did it with just 10 men on the field in midweek. So I am going to take Union Berlin to get themselves back on track here in the Bundesliga. They are coming into this one off the back of a loss in their last game, but prior to that, they had a club record run of 14 consecutive unbeaten. I just don't see them losing back-to-back games off the back of that run. Therefore, we take the pick selection here, the draw no bet selection, because we have the protection of a draw. I can see it being a draw. I just don't see them losing 2 games in a row after putting together that great unbeaten run. So Union Berlin here as a pick, and obviously that selection is available at plus money. Best price of 13 to 10 is available. Closing out with your lock on the show. Couple of overs stand out. We're looking at the RB Leipzig away trip, and obviously we're looking at the Klassiker with the both teams to score tacked on. But I have to go with Bayern Munich here. Bayern Munich have hit top form, a 4-0 win, a 5-0 win, took their foot actually off the gas in both of the second halves in those games. So you can only imagine if they go full tilt. This is a Borussia Dortmund team who are definitely missing Erling Haaland. Yes, they've tightened up at the back. They've been more difficult to break down this season. They've had a number of uncharacteristic clean sheets, but they aren't scoring goals. They're not going to be able to stop Bayern scoring. I'm almost tempted to take the -1 Asian handicap line here, but I actually think there's value at 4 to 6 -150. I cannot see Bayern Munich winning this. They've won 13 of the last 15 head-to-heads at this ground. They've won 8 straight against Borussia Dortmund. That was a Haaland Borussia Dortmund as well. And for me, this is the standout pick from the game of the week. So once again, your lock here for this show is Bayern Munich on the money line at 4 to 6 -150. That's it for me. Good luck with all of your bets as always. And thanks for listening.